Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Taylor Talks Trades. In today's episode, we are with Calum Bonnar from Pristine Decor. He's telling us about his exciting journey travelling all over the world, competing at the highest level in the paint and decorating competitions, to then coming back and starting his own paint and decorating firm. Come and see how well he's done in these last 4 years. I hope you enjoy. Hi Calum, welcome to Taylor Talks Trades.
Hey Jamie, thanks for having us on.
I'll start where I always start. How did you get into the trades then?
It's a bit similar to how a lot of other people have got into the trades. So when I was in school, it wasn't really for me. Sitting in the classroom environment, always when I was in like the practical kind of elements like woodworking, PE and stuff, seemed great. But then the minute I was in a classroom doing maths and English and stuff, it just didn't work too well. So wasn't the best behaved because I was always fidgety, always wanted to be hands-on. So then we left school just as soon as I was pretty much 16, had enough. So I'd applied for some college courses. So it was like a start into the construction, I'm not sure, MPA or whatever it was.
Like an introduction.
So that I could try the joinery, the plumbing and stuff, because at the start, I really wanted to be a joiner, which I think everybody's ambition is to start with. It always seems to be the case. And then I applied for all the local apprenticeships and tried the local council.
Yep.
So I went for the joinery, plumbing, electrician. Didn't get an interview for the electrician because of sciences, I'm sure it was, or whatever it was. And then the joinery and plumbing, I got a practical and theory test, which I had passed, and they said I had a really good interview. So I was on holiday in Lanzarote, and they phoned me. They weren't actually advertising for a painter. And they just phoned me and says, "Do you want a painting apprenticeship?" And at the time, when you're 16, you would take any apprenticeship. So I took it with both hands and then started off with the council for there.
That's brilliant. So, and how did that go for you? Did you?
I think
was that 4 years apprenticeship?
It was 4 year, yeah. So with the council, so 1 day a week at the college. First year it was Monday, second year Tuesday, Wednesday, third year. And then obviously the rest of the time at the work.
Yeah.
So I think the first couple of years I wasn't really focused too much and it was a wee bit rocky. I could have probably just ended up trying something else instead of the painting. The college class was a bit wild, so everything was just a bit mental at the time. And then after that, I kind of new lecturer and that came in. I think he's seen a wee bit of something in me towards the competition sides and stuff. Yeah. So I started trying to commit myself a wee bit more to the college and at my work. Started doing the homers and stuff as you do when you're an apprentice. Yeah. So a lot of most kind of options was coming available for me at that age. So.
Yep. And what was was it the college that put you at the competitions then?
Yeah, but I think my first competition was either at the start of second year or kind of end of first year. I started kind of doing beginners level competitions. And the first one or two I went to, you were always like young boy. It was just like, what am I want to do a competition for? And then I went and I fair enjoyed it and I didn't really push myself to do well at it, but I ended up winning the first one. Yeah. So after that, I was just like, we started pushing on with the competition stuff. Yeah. A lot of my time at college was just drawing the competition stuff because it's kind of, in painting, it's totally different to what we're doing on just normal council jobs. Yeah. So it's more like kind of drawing kind of different designs out and then having to paint it nice and sharp.
Yeah, so they're a bit more of a kind of art form. I feel
it's
like
a bit more niche than just doing like a decorating a room.
Yeah. And what you had been saying to me before we came onto the doing the actual episode that you'd been travelling around with the competitions. Is that how that then happened?
So it kind of progressed. So I started off like first, second year with the beginners competitions. Yeah. Then the next time you're going to like the advanced competitions.
So where are these competitions?
It's in just the different colleges in Scotland.
Right.
Because it's like you get like Scottish kind of heats and English heats, and then the winners will go into a UK heat.
Yeah.
It was just funnily enough that that was a competition that I pretty much done quite a lot. There was another one for to go. The Johnsons one, which I didn't do. I don't know how, but it just kind of came around that I stuck to the skill build one, it's called.
Yeah, skill build.
So the advanced one, I think, was in second year as well. So the beginners one must have been first year. The advanced was second year for me. And I went to that one. I think I came second in the heat. But I still, when they worked out the points, I still qualified for to go to the UK level heat, which we had to go down to Birmingham and the NEC for that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all the kind of best of the results for the UK are all battling it out, obviously, for to see who's the best in the UK at that age and at that bracket. And that's when you get the chance to train into the squad UK, which is when you start to go represent the UK and like your WorldSkills and your EuroSkills and stuff. So I ended up going to the one in Birmingham, and I'd done something that was quite stupid at the time because I was training and fighting in Thai boxing at the time. And I fought like 3 days before I went. So like when I went, my body was just numb.
Oh, no.
So I was like putting myself through the paces at the time, and I was really struggling, but I ended up still coming fourth in it, which I was fairly happy with.
Yeah. And how many people is that roughly out of when it gets to that?
I'm sure it was about kind of 10 to 16.
Right, okay.
So like maybe the top 2 at every kind of heat.
Yeah.
It was something along their lines.
Yeah.
But you had to be like, to get this squad UK, you had to be below 22 by the time you would make it.
Right.
So a couple of the people at the top end of the podium and stuff were like 30 odds and stuff.
Right.
So they were unable to go.
Yeah.
So there was like 3 or 4 of us that got picked to go into squad UK after that, and that's when it really started to. You start to get put through your paces then.
Yeah. That sounds like quite an interesting journey. And then, where did it kind of, how long did see when you got to the squad UK, was this like in the 3rd and the 4th year? Or?
So yeah, I'm pushing into 3rd year,
Yeah.
And that's like a full 2 year process.
Right.
It's like government funded, all of that. So they have like a 2 year training plan. A lot of other countries, so pretty much what WorldSkills is, it's like the Skills Olympics. So there's like one of every trade, like then your beauties and all, like every skill that you could think of. One person or a team goes and represents the UK at that level, which is at the world.
And then you go into it.
I got into the kind of training and then pushed through the training, and then it got down to like it was me against another boy battling it out to see who was going to be the best person to go. So it's like an intense 2 years training. They made me like cancel all the lads' holidays and that because they put that much money into you. So they're like, cancel everything. This is your focus for 2 years.
That's good though.
And they pretty much say if they don't think you're going to do well, they'll just cut you as well. Oh, wow. So it's like so cutthroat because they spend that much money on it.
Yeah.
But I ended up training. I was going up to Dundee College, which is handy. My training manager was in Dundee, but there could be other people like you could be in like Northern Ireland, like Ireland, just say, and then the training manager could be in Scotland, and you would have to travel there for 1 week a month, every month consistently to make sure you're getting that training in. So I was actually lucky. I was just an hour up the road. So I had to do that, and then you had to go to like it was like performance training and everything as well down at Loughborough University. This was with like the performance coaches for the Olympics teams and stuff as well. So everything was like top of the range coaching for everything.
That's brilliant.
And
that's a good experience.
So it's definitely like progressed me massively into obviously starting the business and stuff. But at the time I went to EuroSkills. The UK do it, we go to EuroSkills and then WorldSkills. Whereas every other kind of country goes to WorldSkills first and then EuroSkills at the back of it. So that was like my first one, so I had an absolute nightmare. It was like nothing that you had ever seen before. The scale, everything just kind of got to me. Like I was kicking paint about my booth and that just because I wasn't organised, nothing. Like it was a wee bit like just
overwhelming,
chucked in, and then you were just like, whoa.
Was it a huge event I take it?
Yeah, massive, like 100,000 people kicking about like in it each day. So it was a bit overwhelming.
And where was that one?
That was in Budapest in Hungary. Bit overwhelming, so I ended up coming like last or second last, but they kind of do that just to get you to see exactly what it's all about, the standard. They obviously want you to do well, but it didn't obviously happen at that time. And then I had to come back and knuckle down the next kind of 6 months and progress. So we had to do like a team selection event in Northern Ireland. We done that. So it's like they got another couple of countries over. So I competed against them and another boy for like Scotland to see who we were really gauging against each other. But it was just good to get a wee bit of competition with other countries as well. So I had like really, really good team selection. So after that, it was the only time I actually performed was in the main competitions that I had to really.
Yeah.
The other ones I just seemed to struggle again. I think we went to Russia and China for practice competitions before we went to the main one.
Yeah.
And both times I was like rubbish, and I was like coming home stressed out my head.
Yeah.
Knew, and they were saying like if you didn't get better, we're going to cut you. Eh? So,
and what age were you then? Like 18, 19 or something like
it would
that?
be, aye.
It's quite a big deal, like travelling to Russia and China and
so, and some of the times you're just travelling on your own. Like
Yeah.
you need to just go on your own and meet like your training manager or whatever out there. Eh?
It's quite a big deal. It's like, I know you're obviously an adult as such at that age, but really it's like still late teens really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
late teens, maybe going into 20, so it was like a kind of massive commitment at that age. And then
what made you kind of stick to it rather than just be like, oh, I could just ditch this and go to the lads' holidays? Was there something that was kind of gave you the drive there? Or?
I'm always kind of the person that I need to go like all in with everything. Eh? So like once I start to kind of focus on something, it's just like that's just my sole focus. Eh? And when I started to do well in the competitions and that, and having performance coaches, and there was other people there that were just phoning you all the time, making sure that you were doing well, how you progress, and making sure your mental health's in place, and that if they start to see you take a dip, they're trying to push you through it and stuff. So I think just having that round about me, and just once I start to get something in my head, I just kind of like focused. It's an
exciting thing to get into, and then it's like that's a million miles away from school as well. Like you're saying, if you couldn't sort of concentrate too well and stuff, at least there, like you're busy and you're active, and you've got like a sort of support network around about you as well. That's probably. There is a bit of pressure because they need you to do well if they're putting a big investment in, but also they're trying to support you to get you to be the best you can be. So
to push you on to the next stage and seeing what you've done at the end, considering like the stages that you need to go through. Everything in the competition had to be like timed, so I had to write a schedule, everything I was going to do, and you're talking about down to the minute what you were doing each minute to make sure that everything was going to be done.
And then if you go like, I take it there's like was it all painting, or is there like papering as well?
So there's like
there'll be drying times and all that as well.
Everything you've got to be like on the ball. You've got hair dryers out and that trying to dry stuff. So.
Hi guys, sorry to interrupt the episode, but I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Scope Branding for being our new podcast sponsor. As you're aware, if you've been listening and following the podcast, I'm really big on my branding and having branded workwear. We've teamed up with these guys. They've done all our work at Taylor Roofs, Taylor Solar, and now the Taylor Talks brand here that you can see. They're good quality, good prices, and really good service. Go and connect with Scope Branding on their social media channels, check out their website, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode.
There's like a wallpaper on stage, a main design, which is pretty much where you pick up most of the points. You just get a white board, they give you like a drawing, you've got to kind of draw everything out, and everything's marked down to the millimetre. So if you were a millimetre out, that was that point away, straight away on that. And then there's a speed test. So obviously they just start the buzzer, and then whoever's finished first put their hand up. Not necessarily all about speed, because the standard needs to be there as well. Quality, so there was like, I ended up coming first in the speed test, but somebody had finished 10 minutes before me, but their standard was all over the place, whereas I think I'd done it in like 45 minutes and like everything was bang on, so I was like happy with that.
That's good.
And then there's like a free technique, which is you just get a whiteboard and you need to make up something that shows a couple of different decorative effects. And you get marked on that as well. That's probably like the least amount of points that you'll get, but it's just something to look nice at the side of the board as well, you know what I mean?
No, that makes sense.
And then there's a door that you do a wee bit of spraying, a wee bit of brushwork, but you're not allowed to see any brush marks or that and stuff. So
they're quite
it's a bit of everything. Everything's marked down to like millimetres, and they all, because it's like the different countries' training managers that are marking it, they want to hammer you for everything. They want their person to do the best. So.
No,
like cleanliness and everything's marked down to the...
Yes, that makes sense. And what's so what was the sort of pinnacle of that then? So that was the Russia and China was the training ones, and then you went on and did that?
Yeah, so then we went to Kazan in Russia in 2019. That was like the main one, so that's like the world competition.
Wow. Must be a big...
It's massive. Every other... It's weird because every other country and stuff televises it like the Olympics. Whereas we're like, it's like hidden.
That's
a hidden agenda here.
That's not very good, that.
So it was surreal because we all went down to Luton, stayed in Luton the night before, and it was a chartered flight out there for all the team. all the training managers were there, you're not allowed any contact. My family all flew out and stuff, so like they were kicking about as well. But you just can't have any contact with anybody at that stage. It's like you're in your group and you've got to stick there. So.
And what's that? Is that just so that you're in the zone, or is it?
Yeah, and it's just they like can say that you would be cheating and stuff. The minute they start to try and pick faults in you that way, it's just like you'll just get pulled right out.
Quite a big deal. It just sounds like the Olympics to be fair.
It is like everything that goes around it, and like it's just like a big food hall. Everybody's in getting their food.
Actually, sounds brilliant.
It is. It's like for an experience, it's unbelievable. At the time, I was just like try to know let it get to me. I always kind of go into stuff with the mindset of just being like. Try to be level-headed, didn't let the pressures get to you, try and just take it as it comes. And like, obviously, you know that you've put the training in.
I've never heard of anybody doing anything like that before. Like, I've seen, there is roofing ones as well, and but I don't know anybody who's went and done it. And so like that's quite interesting to hear, because you would, like, that's a massive opportunity for it. Like, a lot of the time with this podcast, you know, it's sometimes going to the younger generation and we're saying, look, this is why you should get a trade. But that's like that. What an experience.
I know, that's like, when you're going through college, you never expect to.
When they phoned you when you were in Lanzarote and said, can you take the painting apprenticeship, you could never have imagined you would then be in Russia and China and
you didn't actually know that it's such a thing, like you said. Nobody actually knows about it.
It's no, like, they wouldn't televise something like that over here, but that should be celebrated a lot more.
And that's probably how trades are further on in different other countries compared to here, because they're pushing it a lot more.
Yeah, they're celebrating it.
Like the person in Russia and China at the time, see if they got gold, they were getting hussies and that, just given to them for the government and stuff.
That's crazy.
We're like, you just get a pat in the back and talk to you up the road.
And was there any sort of, like, was there prizes or anything like that then?
So there is like, it was just really medals and stuff, massive like achievement.
Which is good as well, but...
I ended up coming 8th place, which got a medallion of excellence, and that means I'm sure you need to get over 70%.
Right.
I think there was maybe 1 or 2 behind me that got that as well. So if you hit the 70% mark, you get a medallion of excellence, and then you obviously get the podium finishes. But like there's like a big opening ceremony at the start. So
that actually sounds brilliant.
Every country goes about with the flag, and then at the end there's obviously a closing ceremony, and like. And obviously Russia, like Vladimir Putin and all that was just up behind us sitting, like all the big wigs in Russia and that were all there as well. So it's just it's pretty mental when you look back at it now.
Aye, no, that's one way of setting yourself apart for sure, isn't it?
Aye, definitely.
And what? And was that the end of the competitions then? Was it Russia was the kind of pinnacle where it went to, and then
once you kind of get there, that's you done everything that
top
you can
8 in the world, though, eh? You got that on your website.
Aye, well, I've got like a wee bit on the van and stuff as well, eh? So, because nobody really knows what it is, so just trying to get it out there, eh? So
that's brilliant. And then, so would that have took you to the end of your apprenticeship with the council then at that similar type of time?
Yeah, pretty much. That was like into the. I'm sure it was either just at the end of the apprenticeship or just into like the year after that you were kind of qualified. And then I had just because the council. If I was with any other firm, I think they would have struggled to let me away for as much time as what the council did, which is fair. And I really appreciated them just being like, just letting me do whatever I pretty much pleased, just to make sure that I was there. So I decided I was going to stay there for a year. I think it was a year. I had in my head 2 years after I done it.
Was that just to give it back a bit of loyalty, to say thanks for that?
They've kind of helped me through everything. So I says, at least I can give you a year or two. As me a tradesman, because I always knew my aim was to push further than that. It was always to start a business, but I was just trying to find the right time to do it. So I stayed for a year after it, and then I just kind of got to the stage where I was like, there's better stuff out there, so I need to kind of...
And what did you go into next? Is that when you started up?
That was just straight away. I just started up. Middle of COVID, kind of lockdown stage and stuff. I was working with the council, and we all just got told to really sit in the house, and if they had a job there in an empty house, we would go out. So I ended up, quite a lot of people were in the house, and I got asked to go out and start stripping a full 3-bedroom house myself. And I was like, nah, I'm not want to do this anymore. Like, so eventually I sat it out, and then I just handed my notice, and I was like, I want to go on to do kind of better stuff. So they knew it was coming, but they didn't really want it, because I was always trying to push a wee bit extra. And just at anything that I really do, I always try and push that a bit further than what everybody else is doing.
And talk about that then. How did the sort of the company come about and formalise? Was that an idea that had been bubbling for a wee while, and then you just kind of went, What made you think the middle of COVID was the right time? Do you know? Sounds like the worst time, to be honest.
I know, it probably was. I just didn't know what the right time was, to be fair. And you see everybody else, like, nobody's really out working and stuff. It just gave me a lot of time to think. So, like, in my notes, I've still got it to this day. I've just got, like, loads of different names that I could have had for the company. Just any time I thought of one, I'd write it down. I had loads of different ideas. I had been just asking business owners what's the best bits. All the wee best bits that I thought, I just took note of. And then with the names, like, we obviously went with Pristine Decor Limited, which now I'm so glad, because I think everything just resonates really well with that.
You've like grew into that name.
So it's like everything's just kind of evolved into it, which is good, and I always try to push the brand, because I think that's kind of really good about that. So it was just like whatever one I kind of kept going back to the most, and I had a chat with like family and stuff, and we all kind of said, aye, that seems to be the best. I had some crazy names in that as well, but we kind of said that seems to be the best, so let's just go for it.
You just don't know at that point, because it's like there's nothing there to actually attach it to. It's much easier once you've got something built, then put a name to it, I guess. But nah, it's good to hear. And what was the sort of process for there then? Because I know you've got a team working with you now, and you've sort of grew it a wee bit. What was the kind of steps to that?
So pretty much to actually start, my mum and dad's friend, he's got a plumbing and heating company, and he used to go to the gym that I went to, and that, so we were pretty close. And he's got a few vans and stuff, so me and my mum just went and had a wee quick meeting with him, asked how do you go about starting a business, because at that point I'm like, so it would have been 4 years ago, so I would have been just past 22-year-old, just got to start a business. You're like, where do you even start? So he showed us what to do and that, and I asked him, I says, when do you think it's the best time to start? He says, just whenever you want, really. It's like, if you're good enough, it's gonna fall into place.
There's no a rule book as such.
He says there's no really a better time. If you feel that's what you want to do, just go for it. And at the time, I was working day and night, doing homers, weekends. Like, my sole focus was work anyway. I still like to go out at the weekends and stuff, but my sole focus was just work. So when I actually started, I had like 5 months work booked in front of me to make sure that I was going to be comfy. And like the first job I started on was like a big kind of barn conversion, so I was like, that's got to be my first job. That's what I wanted to start on. I was there for 4 weeks just plodding away, and then after that I just went kind of through the motions. Always said for the start that my main aim's grow, like no matter what, I want to be like, I want to be like the biggest, I want to be the best. You're not starting a business just to sit stagnant, so
no, that's good.
We kind of just pushed on for there, and every time I thought we were getting too much work coming in, I would expand that a wee bit more to obviously the stage that we're at now, 4 years in August, so just next month, and there's seven of us at the moment. So every kind of year I've been trying to push a wee bit further. Maybe now that I want to kind of sit and make sure that profit margins are a bit better and kind of sit comfy where we are.
Well, now's the time to get the systems and the processes in place, because when you get to about 7 people, you're sort of, I'm sort of listening to you, and I think I started around 21, 22 in a similar type journey, ended up having like sort of half a dozen people round about me, and then I actually went, right, I need to learn what business actually is, and then you start reading books, you maybe get a mentor, and you actually, you learn like, right, I need systems and processes, because if you grow too quick without the right foundation, then it just buckles under you. Have you got anybody doing like your admin or anything like that?
So really,
are you still kind of doing everything? Or?
I'm pretty much, but like I would probably say that I would be lost without my mum, if I'm honest. She just for the start, she's always been in the background to help me out, which not really a lot of people know. She has always kind of helped me out doing the wages and stuff for me. Try to keep me grounded a wee bit, like just sometimes when I have, like my mind just goes crazy, like every idea I just want to get it into place and just get it going, see what happens. So sometimes they're pulling me back a bit, which is obviously a good thing as well.
It's good having the soundboard, like as long as they're not holding you back in the wrong way. But
once I explain stuff, sometimes I can manage to like kind of explain why I want to do it and where I'm coming from. But other times they're like, come on, rein it in a wee bit, because you just didn't want to be in a position where you need to pay people off.
That's a really good having that soundboard.
Yeah, that was my one thing I said. I didn't want to be one of these companies that take people on for 6 months, let them go.
It's a long-term sustainable employment, and you grow and then you bring more people in, but not just for a short period of time. That's exactly the way I've grown mine as well, to be honest, mate. You never want to pay somebody off because you've not got enough work. In my opinion, that you've got if you take someone on, you've got a responsibility to them, so you should keep them in work, and then it's up to us as business owners to go and make sure that works there. And so what's going to be the next steps for you then?
So I would just say, like I said, well, just recently we took on a 1,000 square feet unit, so I just built a spray booth and stuff, so I'm trying to push a bit more spray and maybe like doing some upcycling of furniture and stuff, which I've been doing recently, getting into some kitchen spraying and that, because I think the way that the painting's evolving, a lot of it, more of it is spraying.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to focus on a wee bit of that. At the moment, I'm just there nights and early mornings trying to push it a wee bit more until we can get to that stage.
Yeah.
And I've kind of started dipping my toes into a few commercial stuff, new build work. Yeah. We're 90% domestics, but I'm just trying to find out what's the best profit margins and stuff and trying so that we can nail that down. Yeah. The new, I would pretty much say domestics we've got nailed down. But if there was maybe another market that we could tap into and make decent money on, it, we could maybe just every so often use it rather than just sticking to one focus.
Yeah. One thing that like people always say to me that I would run out of domestic work and then I just kept proving them wrong. Do you know, and it was just like we went away from the domestic and we went sort of to like commercial house builders and stuff, tried some other commercial avenues, and we came back and, you know, like we'll do 3-4 million this year, and we're growing towards 10. It's like that level of work is there in the domestic market if you can put the right systems and processes in. Like, you know, you're getting out to people quick, you're quoting quickly, you're getting them scheduled in, you're doing good quality work, but also doing it efficiently. So I think it does sound like for you the next step is sort of getting the systems and processes, choosing the right direction as well. It's like you're almost at a wee bit of a crossroad to go, should we go commercial, should we go domestic? But it's like, just pick your lane, stick in it, and just sort of go for it would be my kind of advice, to be honest. But no, it sounds quite exciting to be
fair. I would say like domestics, what we're like mainly doing, like that's definitely the route that we kind of go 90% of the time. Yeah. And I can't really fault the kind of staff that I've got to know. Everybody, they've got the same, not the same vision, because nobody's got the same vision as you for your company. But they all know where I want to be and what standards I want to push. And like, I couldn't tell you the amount of jobs that I've took the hit on just to make sure that they're perfect, so that there's no comebacks. Yeah. And just learning that over the years, there's countless jobs that you end up taking the hit on when you've not priced properly, or
that's all part of the early days.
And then you just need to try and weed all that out and then try and push on for it.
That's how you learn.
It doesn't happen again. So
absolutely.
We're getting to that kind of stage where that's what we're just trying to make a bit more profit and be more proactive in what we're doing, try and get better systems. The thing that I would say that I've probably been struggling with lately is trying to keep on top of everything. Because I'm still trying to work full time, trying to quote, trying to invoice, trying to keep on top of like replying to messages, social media, still trying to do that all myself, and it has lately.
You need to get an admin in, mate, because like you'll be scared to take that extra wage on and take that person on, but I can tell how driven you are. So if you bring somebody in and get them to start handling the admin, you get all of that outside your head and onto processes. They'll be better at documenting the processes because you're quite, like I can see like your visions are quite jump around a bit.
Ecstatic,
and you're quite ecstatic. So you're never going to sit for hours on end and document your processes. But if you get someone in, you'll transform your business. So if you take that leap of faith with someone, I think you'll kick on to the next level. And like I mentor business, like trades business owners, so like I'll give you some wee pointers and stuff as well, just from stuff that I've done with my other clients and things like that before you go away today. But I'll give you that might just set you off in the right direction. But it's quite simple, like business. It's just not easy. So that's the thing that needs to be remembered. Like, it is simple, but we can make it very difficult by just kind of complicating the process. But like the amount of trades business owners that I speak to, and I say, you just need an admin and you might need to get a wee office, and they're like, I can't afford that. I'm like, you can't afford not to do that if you want to go forward. If you're saying your vision's big and this is where you want it to be, then you kind of need to do these steps. And if you listen to the people that come on this podcast as well, they've all sort of done that. You know, at some point went, I need admin, I need an office, we need to go to the next point, you know. I don't know if are you still on the tools as well? And
so that's like the problem now, is trying to juggle me being on the tools and me trying to do all the kind of admin stuff.
So it's a process of like you coming off the tools and sort of being half and half, and then like it's a stepped, like there's just a staged process to that. So and like lots of us trades business owners have all walked that path. Do you know, I'm sitting having this podcast episode with you just now while my full company, like my various companies are all running without me right now, because I've put them systems and processes in place.
So you can trust it.
And because I've got somebody to document them, because I'm quite like what you were explaining there, like I've got like big ideas and I'm a very big vision person, but I'm no good at like sitting and documenting things. So you bring people in who love admin. It's crazy. Some people actually love admin. They don't like that big vision stuff. They can't do that. They just want to come in and do the tasks each day and then finish their day and away they go and come in tomorrow and know that they've got the tasks to do again. So it is, like I said, it's simple. It's maybe no easy, but I'll be watching your journey for a wee distance and keeping an eye on you, and I hope you do really well. It's good to see how well you've done so far. So thanks for coming on,
really
mate. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Cheers for that.
All the best, mate.